You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G, working to recount the electoral vote system one vote at a time. I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein.
And Mike the Ghoul here, going to talk some sort of relevant politics stuff, I think.
Okay, I said before when we were off mic, I was going to let you take the lead, but then immediately a thought came into my head, and I want to talk about it first. Before we get to Trump and bashing Trump for the next 20 minutes, which is going to be hilarious, because always a good time. So Oklahoma decided that all zygotes via IVF fertilization, the in vitro fertilization stuff, all those little cells they keep in test tubes waiting to be implanted in people are humans. Actual protected human life.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
It's really weird. Like, I saw something on the news a day or two ago as well that said, like, and maybe it was this Oklahoma thing, but a lot of blends together for me in my brain sometimes, that a worker at one of these facilities that, you know, either leaves the embryos out of cold storage or drops them, and they can be held liable for murder or manslaughter.
That's the one, yeah.
What?
Well,
what?
The ruling, so you gotta think that you would hope that when this gets appealed to the Supreme Court, they're going to look at the ruling that the Alabama. It's Alabama, not Oklahoma. They all sound the same to me.
Yeah,
it's
all rednecky.
It's a vowel name in the deep South. Who cares? But Alabama, the Supreme Court justice in Alabama who made this decision basically didn't rule on the facts of the case at all or case law precedent or anything. He ruled entirely based on his religious beliefs and quoting the Bible.
Yeah.
And no matter what else you think, there is a very clear precedent about separation of church and state. So, like, you would hope the Supreme Court will look at that and go, you can't quote the Bible and use this as your entire justification for a decision like this. But we do have the Supreme Court that we have, who is perfectly okay with rewriting case law based on their own opinion anyway. So, kind of hard to say what they're going to do.
It really just is confusing because these people that are in charge of stuff like this are really supposed to be just neutral when it comes to stuff like this. And you can have your religious beliefs. I'm not smashing that. I'm not a very religious person. It's not my thing. But, you know, my family is, and that's their thing. I would never tell another person how to live their life. But it seems like religious people have no problem telling everybody else how they should live their lives. Yep. And that's a bit of an issue for me.
Yeah, that tends to be the case. It's the precedent that this would set if it stays is basically it's no matter. I mean, obviously, it completely invalidates abortion, even though there's like case law about at least 6 weeks or something. This one just says no. You know, from the second you decide to like come inside someone and then they accidentally get pregnant, there is all that, like, that thing is a protected citizen of Alabama now. And that, like, if that stands and the Supreme Court rules that that's correct, and they don't rule on the fact that you can't, you know, rule case law based on your religion, that would basically sink abortion in the entire United States, and that is really stupid for them to do. Like,
I don't get it, man. Like, why do people, like, there are instances where is abortion right, is abortion wrong? You can have that discussion, sure. I think a woman's choice is her choice. Are there sometimes poor choices that are questionable? Yeah, but you're going to get that ordering dinner, okay? There's going to be poor choices in a lot of things, but I think people should have the choice to make when it comes to this. And having someone who has no, real right other than they're an elected official tell you what to do with your body and your rights makes a whole lot of not sense to me. And, you know, I think I was talking to my wife about this. Like, Republicans are the ones that are really behind a lot of this. And for better or worse, that's their policy and stance. Take political party out of it. But they really have no problem protecting a life when it benefits them and before it's an actual person. But as soon as that person is born into the world, they really have no problem saying that, you know, whatever, if a gun kills them, no big deal. Like, the hypocrisy is just endless with these people.
Yeah, the don't support child care, don't support the child tax benefits, don't help people when they're in need, welfare or any of that. Don't do anything for someone once they're born. They just care if they get born. And then, what, it's in God's hands at that point?
I guess. I mean, that's what their stance is. But it's sometimes rather just disappointing and sad, because you would think a lot of people, you would hope that people have a little bit more of a brain and can kind of see through
Oh no.
this, but they can't. And is this not the most Alabama thing ever? I mean, seriously, like, why is it always Alabama that
Hmm.
does something like this? Like Forrest Gump, I feel bad for you, my friend.
Well, and it relates to the fact that this ruling, we can't even know whether or not this ruling is going to stand because of the
Right.
Supreme Court we have right now, which is largely the fault of Trump,
And
who
isn't that
is.
terrifying? Isn't that just
Uh,
terrifying that, like, this should be a slam dunk that this is not right.
mhm.
And you got to question, like, is it?
Well, it's just terrifying also the fact that we don't know whether or not he's going to be our president again.
Both political candidates are poor choices. Biden is
Yeah,
fine, but he's old. Okay, they're both terrible choices, and no matter
no,
what, we're probably going to
no.
have the same life we have, I
No,
suppose.
it's not a difference between two terrible choices. Biden may be older, but
Yeah,
so far everything he's done has been fine.
it's
Okay,
been fine.
it's
Yeah,
not fine. Maybe he doesn't get every single priority the hard left would really like, but I've long resigned myself to the fact that I'm so far to the left, I'm never going to get every priority I ever wanted. I loved Obama, and I only got half the shit I wanted from him because I'm so far off the left.
right.
Biden behind the scenes is about the same as Obama on where he stands on stuff and how he does stuff, and that's fine by me. It's a
Yeah,
choice between a guy who's kind of old, and whether or not he survives to the end of his second term is questionable, but
right.
he's got enough people in charge that I trust that whoever takes over would be just fine in the role. Or you've got President Fuck Up, okay?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
94 indictments on his record. He's
yeah,
losing case after case, and he
yeah,
is just a crazy, insane person. And like, so you can't say, "Well, it's two terrible choices." No, it's one okay choice and one
yeah.
really bad choice.
Yeah, that was really bad phrasing on my part. It's a terrible
Yeah,
choice. It's a terrible
yeah,
choice, and a choice that I guess you're going to settle for because it's
yeah.
the lesser
It's
of all
settled.
evils,
And,
and
and
that's
that's
fine.
that's the thing. If
It,
people want to complain about Biden right now, while we're in
mhm,
the primary season and he's not the choice to like, that's fine. Just at the
mhm.
end of the day, realize, well, are you going to be voting for Trump? If not, then suck it up, okay?
Yeah, it's
Just
true. It really is true.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
what
right.
was it? Jon Stewart like did his first episode back on the Daily Show.
Oh,
He
so good
lamb.
having him back,
It
by the
is good
way.
having him. He's great at what he does, except
Mhm.
for when he decides to spend a 20-minute monologue lambasting Biden and then going, "Oh, and Trump's bad too." Like, what the fuck were you doing, dude? I get it. You think the one guy is old, but you know, you.
I think that was a bit of genius, though, actually, because it's very easy for Jon Stewart to go on there and just smash Trump and Republicans. He's done it for years, but I think that he made the point, and I think he might have said this. He's like, "I'm going to keep this fair, and I'm going to smash Biden hard, and then go, okay, Trump's a bad choice." Well, I think there was a lot of humor in that I think. I'm not saying people miss, but I think that was more trying to go for the humor factor. Like, could I spend 20 minutes smashing Trump? Yeah, absolutely. And then say Biden's bad? Sure. But what if I do it the other way around?
No, but see, the thing is, people listen to him. It's like you and I decide, oh, we're going to bash Biden for 20 minutes because it's funny. And we can
Mhm.
say that at the start, and who gives a shit because we have like 14 listeners. He has the largest audience the Daily Show has seen in 9 years watching him
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
So if he
yeah,
decides that he's going to sit there and bash Biden at a time where people are sitting there going, I don't know if I really want him in office, like, he has the power to sway people. And the people he's swaying are the younger voters that may decide to just sit out. Like, it is stupid of him to do
yeah.
that.
That's fair too. That's also fair. You sometimes I think in the humor of the subject, it can get lost the power and the pull you actually
Mm-hmm.
have. And maybe that was him trying to be funny and trying to be what he said fair. But that's a fair point that you say as well. Like the people that are so far right that will listen to anything that their party says will listen no matter what, and the people that are so far undecided, maybe they listen to that, maybe this is a poor choice kind of thing. Oh yeah, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, he didn't say a lot about Trump.
Yeah.
That's a fair way to look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
true,
So you
true.
want to point out the flaws of Biden. I support pointing out flaws as a
Hmm.
way to like say, these are the things that we're dealing with. We want him to do better, and that's fine. Nothing that Jon Stewart actually said was a we want him to do better. It was a he's old. And it's 20 minutes of him being old. And I'm like, okay, but
Yeah,
you're not you know the left actually watches your show. What advice are you going to, or are you just going to complain for 20 minutes about this? You want to like actually do something because he sat out the entire Trump term. He joked about how he would love Trump to be the primary, like the candidate for the Republicans in his first, like before he got his first term.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, please make this happen. This would be hilarious." And then Trump became the candidate, and then Trump won, and Jon Stewart left. And you're sitting there going, we kind of need you right now, dude. And you bailed before that even became a thing. And now he's back. And instead of actually attacking Trump, which he still hasn't done on his second episode, he's decided to fuck around and attack Biden. And then he decided to attack Tucker Carlson. And don't get me wrong, Tucker Carlson needs to be attacked. And the topic that they were covering about Tucker Carlson being an American mouthpiece for the Russians. Yes, please, report the shit on that. But
is there, like, can you believe that fucking guy, by the way? Like, how nice is the Russian subway system? And they're like, okay, not gonna lie, that's a nice fucking subway.
Really nice fucking subway. I'm not gonna deny that.
But you're in Russia, bro. Like, you can't fake that kind of bullshit and get and how the fuck do you sleep at night, man? Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so he got shown one really nice subway. Did he get to tour like up and down the entire subway line? Did he see all of them, or did he just go to the one that they decided to clean up and make look pretty for him so they could spread the propaganda? And as Jon Stewart pointed out, he went to a grocery store and he's like, and this entire cart of food that we got and we weren't holding back was $100. Okay, try and get that. Like, okay, but Russians only make like $200 a week. So in comparison to
perspective, bro,
it's like that's a $600 to $700 cart of groceries here. Like, no, you're not reporting on all the facts. But at the same time, Jon Stewart gets one episode a week. He's only doing one. And the people are there specifically tuning in for him. The ratings are the best on the Jon Stewart day. He has a responsive fucking ability.
And I'd like to think we're building to that. I really do.
So.
I hope so. And
I hope so.
We got a little bit of smash on Biden episode 1. Okay, maybe that's trying
to be fair. Don't do it again. Get it out of the way now.
Don't do it again. Smashing Tucker Carlson, to your point, that guy needs to get kicked in the fucking teeth any chance he gets.
He got torn down once, and I recognize that he is a target for Jon Stewart, because Jon Stewart has had his little sights on him ever since Crossfire, and Tucker became this roach that won't go away. And he still won't go away. He's still a fucking roach. Like, he can't do the thing that Bill O'Reilly did, which is just go to a podcast and not have anyone listen to you. I mean, that's what we've done. Clearly, it's working for us.
Right.
But like fucking just go away, Tucker, and then Jon Stewart can actually address the shit that really matters, which is Trump. Now,
I'm thinking we'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm hoping.
Once we get through the primary season, once it really drills down to is it Trump, is it Haley? Spoiler, it's going to be Trump.
Everyone knows it's Trump.
Everyone knows it's him, and and Nikki Haley again. Like, you fight that good fight, girl. I'm pulling for you as the maybe voice of sanity of that party.
She has no fucking chance. She doesn't even know which direction to tack. She tries to come at Trump from the left and from the right, and then she comes out and says, yes, I agree with Alabama. I do think that, she says embryos, even though at the point that they're in there right now, they're zygotes. I do think embryos are people. Like, oh my fucking God. Like, you're not going to win anyone with that. The people that think you're supposed to be the voice of reason to counteract Trump aren't going to vote for you with that. You're losing all of the somewhat centrist Republicans with a stance like that. And then you're never going to win Trump's base because they don't care about anything that he says. They're literally there for his cult of personality. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't. And speaking of cult of personality, like what kind of grip do you have to have on these people to get them to send this fucking guy money?
I know.
Or buy his products?
Well,
I don't get it.
So, I've read a lot about this. I read a lot of politics. I don't talk about it on the website very often, but I read a lot of politics. And the fact of the matter is that what Trump taps into is anger. It doesn't. Policy doesn't matter. What he says doesn't really matter. He could spout the dumbest fucking bullshit all day long, and he does. And it doesn't really. It doesn't. And it doesn't matter to them at all, because what he taps into is the anger and resentment they feel that. Like, the factory jobs they used to have in their towns are gone, and their towns have fallen to shit. That the people they blame are the people that he's blaming. All the things that they think is what he said and he's angry about it. So when they feel anger that they can't place anywhere because they don't know where it's supposed to go, he gives them targets, and they
Yeah.
love him for that. So now that's like he can he can murder someone. He has plenty of affairs. He does whatever else he wants, and they don't give a shit as long as he's there to be the face of their anger.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess, and then
it's sad.
that makes sense,
Yeah,
and that has to be it,
yeah.
because I do not understand how somebody could be looking at him objectively and look at this guy
Because they
as a
don't.
winner, because
Well,
you can't.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When was the last time you heard about people on the far right thinking about anything
Yeah,
objectively? You
there's no policy
No, there's
there.
no policy. There's no. They have anger. They've always had anger, and
Hmm.
it's just someone tapping into it and then directing that anger towards a topic. And you
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same people that are his fans are the people that basically make up the quote unquote boomers. It's the
right.
people who just have anger and think they're entitled to be right, and no matter how much you argue with them, they don't listen.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
can't concede a point ever.
yeah.
So when he refuses to concede a point and he's angry about everything, they see themselves in him.
It's the people that like have that real, wisdom means respect and age means wisdom kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
where it's they are not wrong.
Nope.
You might have something to say, but it's not correct because I didn't live it or I don't think it's right.
Yeah. And
So,
I
and
don't
that
think
is a
it, so I'm
very
not listening.
bullshit, very
Yeah.
bullshit way of thinking, and
Yeah.
very much just like the people that are that old that should not be making decisions, because you know what? It ain't your future, bro. Like if you're 65 and over, you shouldn't be making the choice for me at 40. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And that's a problem is we have, okay, Biden's old.
Yeah.
But he is at least thinking about the future generations. He's trying to put policies in place that the next people will actually support and continue. Like, what
Mhm.
is Trump doesn't do any of this. All he cares about is getting back at people that have wronged him and
Right.
having people tell him that he's the best. So that's
Yeah.
all he wants to populate the government with. And he doesn't really give a shit about policy because that's the thing. When you listen to him, he doesn't have policy.
No, it's windmills that are
Yes.
killing birds. It's toilets that don't. It's the greatest hits over and over.
Yeah.
Crooked Hillary, crooked Obama, crooked
I
this, like
won that
crooked
election.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That I won this. We had the lead. Yeah, but the votes weren't counted, dipshit. Like there's
Yeah.
simple math here involved. Like
Yeah.
it's the greatest hits. It's pandering to your base and it's thumping your chest and just getting people to send you money that are just really sad.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't think he cares about being reelected again
No,
either. No, he
no.
just wants their money, and the longer he can he's been keeping that going. Like he started running for president the day he was out of office. He officially opened his election campaign for 2024, and
Yeah.
he's been grabbing money from people for 4 years.
And then I know those people are looking at it like, he cares. He can't wait to get back in there and make a difference. No, he
He's
can't
not gonna
wait
give
to
a
keep
shit.
padding his
No,
wallet. Like,
yeah,
that's all it is. Like,
no.
why are you so stupid?
He didn't want to be president the first time. He doesn't want it now. He just wants to save face, make it look like he didn't lose, and get all your money that he can. Like
Yeah.
the grift you were talking about, like when we were off mic before this, all the things that he's been selling this week just to pay the tab because he owes 500 plus million that he has to put into reserve with
Yeah.
the New York courts before he can even appeal the case against him.
It's insane. Like,
Yeah.
let's go hawk $400 shoes that are just the most hideous things in the world, or this cologne, Champion 47 or whatever. This and everything is gold and tacky
Well,
and
that's
just
Trump.
very just. It is so just not any kind of like thought behind
Yeah.
it. It's just gold means important, and like
That's
that's
what he
it.
thinks. That's all he thinks. I mean, if you saw the pictures of his old apartment,
Yeah,
everything was gold,
yeah. And I don't
gold
know,
on
like
gold.
I don't know if it's like a status thing, then that must be what it is. That he thinks like gold means status,
Yeah.
because it's very tacky, it's very gaudy, and it's just it's old, and it does not make sense to me. But maybe I'm just young?
Well, and
Question
that's
mark.
the thing. He's okay. Biden's old. We've said this a couple times already. He's
Right.
82. He will be.
Yeah.
He wins. Well, he's 81, 82. When he
Yeah.
wins and finishes his term, if he wins,
86.
he'll be 86. Okay, Trump is 77. He wins and finishes his term. He's gonna be
81.
81. They'll both be octogenarians if they finish
Yeah.
their second term. And of the two, I have less faith that Trump's gonna make it through his second term with the way he eats and carries himself and everything. Like
Yeah.
my wife, used to do care for old people in like a home,
Yeah.
and like the way he talks, the way he formulates ideas, the way he carries his body, he shows all the signs to someone who's trained to look for that sort of thing of
Mm.
senility. Like he has like all of it, and the body position with the arms the way he does and his weird hunch and everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another symptom of it. Like it's pretty clear what he's suffering from, but you can't explain that to people because they're like, "Oh no, you're just saying that because you're from the
Yeah.
left and a snowflake."
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 it's pretty obvious that something is not clicking, and
no.
for all the gaffes he throws at Biden having, they're far less harmless than the gaffes that he throws out.
Well, and that's the thing.
So
They're using that as a case that Biden has senility. Which, okay, have you watched Biden from 50 years ago? He made the same fucking
he
gaffes.
sure did, sure did.
He's
He was articulate, but at the same time, like men stumble on thoughts. It happens.
he has the toughest job in the world right now, and he
Yeah,
has a stutter to begin with. Like,
yeah,
so, like you're trying to get your brain to come through on stuff. Your brain is just gonna spout shit off once in a while, and that's what he does.
yeah.
He's always been a spouter. He can't control his tongue sometimes.
I guess we just long for the days of the articulate W. I mean, goodness, right?
Oh,
Goodness.
no. Oh, too far, man. Too far. I long for the days of Obama, you know? There's
Yeah,
a part of me that is so sad that Michelle wasn't willing to run.
and there's still hope that maybe one day
She
she
has
does.
way no interest.
I don't blame her at all.
No,
Though. I
no.
mean, look at what it did to her husband,
I
man.
know.
That dude was one sly, slick looking like cornerback dude that could play point guard for the Nets.
He
And the next thing
visibly
you know,
aged.
at the end of that, my man looked 20 years older.
Yes, yes.
He really
That
did.
job wore its toll on him. And then
Yeah.
you see him afterwards going to Hawaii and doing parasailing. And you're like, you go
Yeah.
live your life, man.
Yeah,
Get the color in your hair back.
You did the best you could for us, and thank you for your service.
He's just out there going, I'm so much happier now that I'm not president. And Michelle's going, and you want me to run? No.
So y'all motherfuckers thought this was easy. Like, oh my god.
Oh.
How do you like me now?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, Trump seemed completely lost as president. Just a complete fuck up the whole time. And as much as he desperately clung to power while it was going on, like, things improved the second he was out of office. So, like, Biden may have flaws.
Sure.
He may be an old man, so he's not moving around like he used to. You know what matters when you're president? Your brain, okay? And this is the same brain he's had since he was, like, in the Senate 50 years ago, and it seems to be checking along just fine at the exact same pace it was back then. It might fuck up once in a while, but that's just Biden being Biden right there. I'll take that over whatever dumb shit comes out of Trump's mouth any day.
Yeah, I'll agree. And I feel like that a lot of it and the perception right now is every time you turn on, CNN, MSNBC, and you have these Democrats on there and they're like, oh, he's sharp. It's the same wording and phrasing. And people obviously are going to look at that and say, sure, that sounds scripted, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. He's not going to be where he is doing what he's doing if he's not capable.
No.
I feel
because they 25th Amendment him if he wasn't capable. The Democrats have no problem with that shit.
Yeah, and I gotta feel that he is the kind of person that I would trust that if he did not think he could do the job, even with Trump running again and trying to be that person to keep him out of office, he would find somebody that could win.
He would
and I
have
feel like
already,
he would gracefully step away. He's that kind of guy.
If
Did he get everything right as a senator? No. Did he do some dumb shit with guns back in the day? Yes. Mandatory minimums? Sure. But you know what? I think he gets it now.
Yeah. And if he... I trust that if he thought he wasn't going to be able to do it 2 years ago, he would have already been training someone to run in his place.
Yes.
Yeah, he'd already know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And, Kamala Harris, like, I wish we'd seen more of her over the last 4 years. I feel like every time I turn around, I'm hearing that she's doing something, but I never see her.
Yeah.
And
that's bad.
For say what you want, but I mean, that vice president, especially a woman of color, I think should be a little more front and center for the party that you're running with. Just maybe that's just me.
I mean, you look at how Obama and Biden did it. Obama brought Biden in as a person to work with him, and that's what Biden said Kamala was going to be. And so Biden can run on the Obama legacy, and many people of color are perfectly happy voting for him because they're like, they see the Obama legacy when they see him, and they see what he's running on, and they're happy with it. But, like, Kamala, I don't know if she just doesn't work well with Biden or if she doesn't want to be front and center, which would be weird for someone who wanted to be in politics to not want to
Right?
be front and center. But whatever the case, she doesn't have the same natural presence that Biden just had. Biden was always there, cracking a smile and being the dumb guy behind Obama during speeches. It was
Pointing his finger at somebody.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, how you doing over there?
And there were memes all the time about
Yeah.
Obama trying to say something and then Biden saying something stupid and Obama well, he's right, but don't say it like that. But you don't get that with Kamala and Biden, and maybe that's a failing. If Biden had put her front and center more and made sure that she was in the spotlight the way that he was, then we wouldn't be worrying about whether or not he was old, because she on the ticket, you'd be like, well, we can trust her to run it when he decides. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a failing.
It's a 4-year missed opportunity, but then
It
it kind of we're living in what we're living in now. It's the bed we made, and we got to deal with it. So hopefully that there is a strong enough showing in the fall that we have the best thing for our country, because I am sad for what will happen if it goes the other way.
The most hopeful thing is that in polling, yes, Trump is beating Biden right now. But if you look at long-term polling, Trump's numbers haven't changed.
Right.
The only thing, he has a floor, and he can't get above that. The only thing that has changed is how Biden is doing with his half of the electorate. A lot of people have not come home yet. They're undecided. They're saying they're going to vote third party or whatever. Most of these people don't remain undecided. Most of these people don't vote third party. So the question is whether or not they decide to vote third party or stay home, or if they're eventually just going to come home. Most will come home, but it's those tiny fractions of the percentage that really matter. So, yeah. It's going to be a close one.
It's those small little, districts here and there that can really decide things with a few thousand votes that really just swings a state in another direction. And it's crazy to learn that. And, the gerrymandering going on in these districts to give whatever party they can the political advantage. It's a real twisted slope that those things are, and the things that people do to kind of hold on and grasp, at the straws of power when they have it, to not leave. And it's gone from a public service to a thought of right in order to stay in office and make the money that comes with it. It's this really strange thing that things have come this far in 200 years, and we'll see where we are in another 200, I guess. I won't be here to see it, so it is what it is.
That's a happy thought. Okay, so vote Biden. Woo!
Yay, go Biden. And yay, don't buy Trump shoes or cologne. They suck.
Don't buy his shoes. Please don't. Please. Like his steaks and his bullshit. Don't buy his
university and all this other good stuff. And the casinos that he bankrupt. How the fuck you bankrupt a casino, bro? That is literally an ATM.
Right? The
what
fuck are you doing?
With you? I don't whatever.
This has been Not So Live from Asteroid G, brought to you by Trump Casinos. I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein.
I'm going to go spin the wheel and land on green. I'm Mike to go take it easy, everyone.
We'll see you all next time.